All right, guys, I'll jump right into it because we still have a entertainment tonight to get to. I can't wait to hear Jared's thoughts on that. But it is the Prep Spotlight presented by the Jacobs Insurance Agency, local, independent, and trusted. We'll take a look at some of the most recent games in boys basketball. Chesaning on Monday night, last Monday, a big win over Mount Morris, 72-44. The Indians' 11th straight win. First place tie in the MMAC at 12-2. The Sheriff Law Danik had 17. Luke Barta, Baker's dozen double-double with 13 points and 13 rebounds. Well, the guy you were talking about, Jared, getting married here, is going to have a big year. Freeland, couple big wins. They downed Kersley 78-62. Coach Johnny Fattel, I can still call him Johnny. He got win number 100. And the Falcons, I think, are 9th ranked right now. So a big win there for John and the team. And then another huge win over Frankenmuth. 1-point win, 57-56. Yeah. Wilson Huckabee's layup for the victory. Huck finished with 17. Big win. Just a good job by Freeland right now, playing good basketball, and they're young.
Yeah, they're all no seniors on the team. I was there for that game on Friday versus Frankenmuth. It was they went up by maybe 14, Freeland did, and then Frankenmuth went to a box and won, and it gave Freeland a little bit of trouble for a little bit. Frankenmuth came all the way back, took the lead late in the fourth quarter, and actually had a pretty good-looking shot to win the game, and Freeland just escaped. I mean, it's a great little rivalry they got going between those two. It is. Every time you go to that game, that's why I usually love going to that game every year. It's a packed house gym. So it's a very fun environment, and one of those games where you go, wow, I'm just thankful to escape out of that one with a win, because they took Frankenmuth to overtime earlier in the year. It's like – and there's a chance they could potentially play them in regionals if both teams make it there. So it's kind of there's some bad, maybe not necessarily bad blood, but just a fun high school rivalry that's gonna make you get your popcorn ready every time they play each other. So it's
I'm gonna have to get to a couple of games. I was gonna go to their game at Williamston, but it got postponed because of weather earlier this season. That's a bummer because that's just down the road. But I'll definitely check it out. By the way, did you get the email from me, Chuck Kraft, the Bleacher Dennison, what he does on games, how he writes them up? Man, it's old school stuff, but pretty detailed.
It's very admirable, the attention to detail on it, but it's a dense read, man. It's amazing that there's like a 5,000, maybe even more word write up on it by the Bleacher Dennison. Fun little page, but yeah, I only made it through maybe the first quarter of the reading before I'm like, I'm good on this. Did you make it all the way through?
Does it for the love, man. It amuses me because, I think he's my age and some of his descriptions is old school, but yeah, he was at the game. Corunna, hey, I was able to find some info since the Cavs won a game. They downed Clio 56-48. 4 players hit for double figures in that one. You like that little snide comment? Mason over St. John, 61-54. Levi Stanbaugh led all scorers with 29 as he passed the 1,000-point milestone. Morris a win over Genesee. Byron down Birch Run. Perry 58-55 win over Langsburg, a game heard on the Castle. Freshman Trey Selbig had 15 in that one for the Ramblers. So some pretty good basketball on the boys' side being played in our area. I've got a few girls' ones I just want to pass out, guys. Ovid Elsie over New Lothrop in overtime, 41-39. Allison Moore hit a three-pointer with 2 seconds left in overtime for the win. That had to be a big thrill for sure. Corunna got by Clio 46-22. Gracie Termier had 15. Cavaliers also beat Brandon 53-17. Kaylee Owens had 24. It was Owasso with a win, 47-32 over Clio. Danica Dwyer had 19 in that one. I got a couple other stories away from basketball. Wrestling, Perry got a D4 District 3-peat, while Corunna, they beat Ovid Elsie and Chesaning for the D3 District Wrestling crown. In swimming, you keep trying to get me to do play-by-play. I don't know if I'll do that, but I might go to the gym for the Owasso Corunna swim meet. That ought to be pretty amazing. I may throw a clip or two on Facebook Live. That might be the extent of it. But
we saw February 17th is that meet, right?
That's coming up, yeah.
Where did the love for swimming? It's interesting that's been a topic every week on the prep. It's just because it's a winter sport, or did I miss something?
Part of it are two teams I follow the closest, Owasso and Corunna, both having great seasons, undefeated. Gotcha. And Owasso remains unbeaten. They downed Kersley Lake Fenton 116-70. I'll wrap up the prep spotlight. with the Scholar Athlete Award, Alan Merva of Corunna was just named one of the recipients of the Scholar Athlete presented by the MHSAA. So congrats to him. And speaking of Corunna football, they have a new football coach. Jason Beldiga has been announced as the head coach, and he's been a supporter and an assistant coach for a long time, and getting his shot as the head coach. Good job for him.
Friend of the podcast too. He's been on before, right? So
absolutely,
I think it's been a while, but yeah, that'll be exciting. We'll have to have him on again, maybe this summer or closer to football season.
Right on.
Honestly, I didn't think that he would. I was kind of blindsided, but I didn't even think that he would want the job. It's awesome. I think he's going to do a great job. I think it's about as good as you could hope for of a hire for Corunna going into this offseason. I remember back because he was my defensive coordinator when I played football, which feels like an eternity ago, as 7 years ago at this point. And I remember we'd meet on Sundays, and like get the game plan for the week and film and everything. And I remember on the defensive side of the ball, I was an offensive only player. Basically, the only reason I touched the field in football is because I could throw a football. If I couldn't throw a football, I probably would have just been next to the water cooler all game. But I remember he'd send out these very extensive like defensive scouting reports where it would have every formation the team lines up in, the percentage of what plays they run in these formations, what they ran to the right, when they ran to the left. And I remember thinking like, man, like, can I get something like this for like offense or something? Like, this is like awesome. Like, this is almost like a college scouting report. And I mean, we had a very good defense that year. I mean, they never let us down. Ironically, I maybe did. So I was always very impressed with the preparation. And now that it gets to maybe get applied to an entire team, I can't wait to see what it's like. And he's also a very good motivator. I think maybe I've told this story on the podcast before our district championship game. He turns the lights down in the locker room as we're about to take the field. And he goes, I remember coming to a game, Matt, maybe you guys remember this play. I don't remember. I think it was like the Lumen Christie game in like 1994 or something like that. He goes, I remember being a kid in the stands and Lumen Christie was punting. And this kid who maybe didn't play very much, went around the corner and blocked a punt. And he goes, he lights a lighter like in this locker room or a match. He goes, any one of you guys can be that spark for any kid in the bleachers today. I want you to think about that, like as you take the field. And I'm like, that's one hell of a speech, man. I'm ready to go play. So it's funny how that I've heard a zillion speeches in my lifetime before football games. That's the only one I really remember. One, because of the great message. Two, the theatrics behind it. So right. I'm really excited to see what they do. A lot of work to be done. Obviously lost a lot of talent from the last two classes that we've had. So going to be an uphill climb, but I think it's a very good hire. So I'm excited to see what they do.
Congrats to JB, and they kept it in-house.
Yeah, I kept it in-house, and that's some cool insider info. Someone who played for him. I was a couple years below him, so I remember seeing him as a varsity player and stuff like that. And I think we're all thinking he's going to do well, right? There's going to be maybe some work cut out, as far as the roster goes and developing some of the talent. But he's cut out for it, and it's cool. He knows the community, he knows the youth program. I'm sure Coach Herrick is still going to be around, and helping out however he can. So, I think that'll be big, maybe mentoring a little bit, but that story, those are the speeches, you hear about the ones where guys are smacking the wall and screaming F-bomb this, F that, going crazy, screaming their heads off. All right. That's fantastic. But, think about the Al Pacino speech in Any Given Sunday. He doesn't go crazy. It's just a fantastic, message. And sometimes that's what it's all about. That's what hits home. And it's so funny to me that he brings up that Lumen Christie game, because I've brought that up probably.
Yeah, do you remember what play that is?
Oh, yeah, I remember it for sure. At Atwood Stadium. I remember that play for sure. And because I was the same kid in the stands watching that. And there's a whole generation clearly of Corunna kids who remember the 94 and the 96 Corunna teams. And I think that's a testament. I bet you the guys who played on those 94, 96 teams, probably, they're like freaking kings when it comes to Corunna football, because there are so many kids that went to those games and watched those teams. It's funny that he did that. That's a cool speech. I like that story.
Yeah, that was really good. Good job too. All right, we'll take another break, and we'll
thank you.
You're welcome. And we'll wrap it up with Tedtertainment tonight. We'll see if you can keep it on a roll.
Yeah.
Jacobs Insurance Agency has served Shiawassee County and the surrounding areas since 1977. Just like 3 Point Podcast, we've had 3 generations: Gary Jacobs Sr., Gary Jacobs II, Brian Jacobs, and myself, Noah Jacobs, serving our community with offices in Waterford and Owasso on M21, just west of Home Depot. Stop in or go online to jacobsinsurance.com to get a quote or get your questions answered by our team. Jacobs Insurance is a proud supporter of our local schools and the proud sponsor of the Prep Spotlight. Insure everything, local, independent, and trusted. It's our family working together to protect yours. That's the Jacobs way.